Yo guys, what's up? Here I am, back again, with Vlad the Impaler. I don't know Oh, this is how much stats I actually have. Okay, continue. Well, if you missed the first chapter, I arrived in Istanbul. It wasn't good. I helped the vampire, which is a bad thing to do when you're trying to fight vampires. I let a man be sawed in half because he wanted some sexy time. And I found out that this event is oddly similar to one that is set in Vlad Tepe, the Impaler Stala. I think that's not what it was, but it sounded cool. I hope it did. But on to chapter 2. The evidence you've collected lays spread out on the table before you. Your meal from the tavern downstairs sits half-eaten as you try to make sense of the results of your encounters. That's when you sense the presence behind you. On instinct, you spin to the side just as a knife passes through the air where you've been standing. All your weapons are across the room, save for one that no one ever expects. You, with singular speed and deft strikes, grapple with the hooded assassin, keeping the jagged knife just beyond the slice of your flesh, until at last you gain the crucial advantage and flip your attacker over onto the table, breaking it into splinters in the process. The assassin lies still, pulling back his mask. You find horrible slackness in his head, the result of a broken neck. His face is of a European. Around his neck is a silver cross with a tiny dragon curled around it. In his pockets you find a small bound copy of the Exorcist's Doctrine, a piece of folded paper. It is a letter with the name of the inn where you are staying, as well as your room number. Excellent, you think to yourself. If people are trying to kill me, then I must be getting somewhere. Ooh. Here we go. Even though I thought I chose to be a lady, it looked like a man's jaw there. Ooh, I can now enter the catacombs in the Balissia. I don't know. Let's see. I can't ask around for information. Kinda. Let's go to the Balisca. I guess just visit it. I don't know. You are visiting the Basilica before sundown, when you notice a group of altar boys gathered around the corner. They seem to be up to something, but you can't tell what. I'm guessing it's that rat. When a priest finally calls them, they run off, giggling and shoving each other. He approaches a small table where they had been gathered and open a box. Peering inside, find the mouse! Help me! If you do, I will reward you with riches beyond your imagination. No. Of course, I put the poor thing in lamp oil, so it's just the thing helplessly off the side. Ooh, what should I do? I'm gonna free the mouse. It'll just run away. But if I leave it and wait for the altar boys, I can like see them burn the mouse or question them. I hope. As you wait for them to hand upon the information you've managed to collect so far, what is it that the victims of the city have in common with that makes them cities? What is it that the victims of the city have in common that makes them the targets of these murders and abductions? There's certainly a sinister agenda at play, but there also seems to be an element of the primal, a tyrannical force that is active for no other reason than hunger. It is at that moment you catch the motion from the corner of your eye across the aisle, lowering itself through midair is the largest spider you ever seen. Its body is bigger than both your fists put together. Its long needle-like legs spread out as it slides down the silken threads right into the box. You hear but a single squeak from the mouse. A moment later, the spider is climbing back up its cord with a strength and speed that sends chills down your spine. The mouse is limp in its fangs. Well, that was unnerving, but I pondered. And I saw a big spider, so that increased my intelligence. Well, I checked out the basilica. I don't know how to say it. So let's go to the catacombs. Ooh, do I want to hire a guide? What if he's a vampire? But if I'm by myself, I could be ambushed as well. I'm actually gonna not go with that. It seems like a bad idea. I'll walk through the main room of the basilica. No, I won't. Let's go back to the square. I'm gonna look for the head guard, see what he has to say. You were walking through the square, searching for the head of the district guards, when you pass a man who's less thing. I don't know. Don't use big words. I'm guessing it means talking. But whatever. By a man talking from the top of a great crate. Talk about being on his soapbox. As you walk by, the man shouts and points at you. And that's just why God punishes us. Foreigners and armors with their idolatrous gods and their wicked scheme. Get thee hence, men. Get thee hence, heathen. Get ye back to your land of sin and fornication. I came to Istanbul to save its people. Only a fool would claim to know what God thinks. See, this gives me crap. That gives He's gonna say lies. You're just working for a vampire. This is like, you do not know what thou God believeth. And only a God-forsaken atheist would challenge the word of the Almighty, replies the preacher, getting even more fired up. Here we find the vanity and arrogance of the heathen mind. Only he who is ignorant of the path. What is that tattoo? You ask. The preacher glares at you. That tattoo on your right arm. You continue. I assume that is the jackal symbol of the Bolfarius Brotherhood. Maybe you remember. Maybe you used to lie. Either way, that's a sin. Leviticus 19:23. Do not cut your bodies for the dead, or put tattoo marks upon yourselves, for I am the Lord. If you are truly God's mouthpiece on earth, then why are you sinning against him? Here, in the middle of this holy city. The preacher begins to reply, but the crowd is now booing at him. Boo on! Boo ons! You can feel his hot stare on your back as you turn and leave. It was petty to engage in the fool. His compensation, having been forced to study scriptures for years at the orphanage, you have an unfair advantage, especially on someone not educated enough to know they shouldn't lecture strangers on something you yourself have never had. Hey, what's charming? I What other options do we have? No, I don't want to just get some dark cloud. Wander at nightfall. What dangers lurk in the hearts of men and in the shadows of the street? The square is quiet at night. Here and there, the late night wanderers move around like dark ghosts towards their destinations, keeping mostly to themselves. You walk among them, unable to sleep, attempting to find the connections to all the varied pieces of this puzzle you have gathered. A soft clicking sound drifts across the square. You recognize it from your nights in the Lebanese desert. Gaze off towards the Tower of Galata. A few moments, your eyes detect a swarm of rats circling their way across the square, probably snatching up night moths in the warm night. The sight reminds you of happier times, the warmth of a body next to you on the open sands. But as you watch this cloud of bats, you realize that their movements are strange. It almost seems like they are spiraling around so tightly that they are collapsing into one another. Blink in disbelief as the swirling cloud condenses into the form of a man dressed in a flowing black. You approach the man. You walk towards the man. He looks at you with eyes that burn white beneath the flowing black hair. You there, say. Who are you? I thought I was the other guy. What are you doing here? I am but taking in the sights, he replies in a low voice. And yourself. You fall into a step behind him as the two of you walk south. I'm here because Istanbul is slipping into darkness, you say, and someone needs to save it. The man nods. Indeed, it seems someone should. You glance over at him. Are you one of those dark powers? You ask. He doesn't quite smile when he replies. I am a dark power, but not the one you speak of. Should I be wary of you anyway, you ask? If you are wise, he replies. But I will not be here long. There are many threats into this place. You should spend your time investigating. If you truly wish to save this city, I'm listening, you say. Start with the Balisika, replies. I was once told that worst men in Istanbul use the eastern entrance. I look into that, you say. Anything else? Glances over you with its ghastly, ghostly white eyes. Yes, given the choice between a sword and a flower, always choose the flower. Look over at him again, confused. He simply nods. Then is suddenly 20 yards away from you. You watch as he leaves the square. Stare. Blah, blah. You watch as he leaves the square and wanders up into the neighborhood. Just who was he? Was he Vlad Tepe? And that is the end of chapter 2. This is pretty awesome because these chapters, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but they're just long enough for a 15-minute Let's Play episode. And speaking of Let's Play episodes, thank you guys so much for watching. I know I'm not actually doing much playing, I'm mostly Let's Reading. Maybe I should change the title to that. But if you watched this, found it interesting, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more, and comment if you have a comment. There's also a dislike button if you dislike it, but that would make me sad.